They say mystery is often more interesting than the truth itself. And honestly, our obsession with people we don't fully know and our urge to explore hidden, hard-to-reach places probably comes from that. Because, yeah, let's be real. The people we feel the strongest pull toward usually aren't the ones we know best. In social life, claiming you truly know someone is kind of a trap, because everyone, including us, has a persona, a mask we only take off once in a blue moon. The Grammys have just been announced. Two masked bands, Sleep Token and Ghost, went head-to-head for Best Metal Performance. Now, sure, Ghost mostly dropped the full anonymity thing after 2017, but back when they won a Grammy in 2016, their secrecy level was basically Sleep Token tier. The award didn't go to either band, but whatever, it's fine. Anyway, today's topic is Sleep Token and their genuinely genius marketing strategies. My introduction to them was kind of funny. One day, my brother called me and said there's this insane drummer named Two. And I love when people talk about drummers, because I'm an amateur drummer too, and you know how it goes. In band projects, everyone's always like, OMG, the vocalist, or the guitarist is a god, while bassists and drummers, they're treated like background furniture. As much as I hate to admit it, no band becomes Sleep Token level popular just because the drummer plays like an absolute maniac. And yeah, this unstoppable rise clearly isn't about luck. It's about layered, deliberate marketing moves. What I really want to do is analyze the alternative reality game they built around their latest album, even in Arcadia. But I've got a bigger question stuck in my head too. In a time when everyone is more visible than ever, is anonymity actually a sustainable strategy? Or is this band just a rare outlier? And no, I didn't get lazy. I even did academic research for you. The results are honestly surprising. If you want to subscribe, I mean, you will. Or you won't. Whatever. We're starting now. Obviously, I'm not ignorant enough to reduce a band that makes genuinely great music into soulless business nonsense. I mean, I'm kind of an empty guy, sure, but what I'm saying is, making a 7-minute emotional feast like The Summoning go viral in a market where people can't even tolerate 2-minute songs? That's not for just any brave soul. And yes, I'm obsessed with that funky section at the end that basically feels like a whole separate song. From what I can tell, those guys kinda know their way around music. Like, I was watching Rick Beato analyze Emergence the other day, and he mentioned G suspended chords. And you know what that means, right? If you're using weird chords like that and still reaching massive audiences, you probably know what you're doing. Yes, I really do think with logic this primitive. I'm a simple man. Now, I'm gonna jump straight into the middle of the book. No warm-up. Two things about these guys really stand out to me. First, they've got this sensitivity about anonymity that sometimes borders on extreme. And second, they absolutely love blurring the line between what's real and what's fiction. You'll see what I mean in a second. Even though the band is obsessively protective about their own privacy, they might not always show the same sensitivity when it comes to other people's rights. Okay, that sounds a bit bold, but they were seriously accused recently. A photographer claimed that a photo they took at one of the band's concerts was used, apparently altered, on an official merch item. Honestly, I don't really care what actually happened. My point is this: the band's obsession with personal data isn't just being sensitive. It's a deliberate, consistent emphasis. And if we're being fully honest, they don't protect it purely out of sincerity. This anonymity thing is something they have to keep alive for the project to keep functioning. To explain this better, I'm going to briefly bring up an article about Ghost by Catherine Hode, published by Cambridge University Press in 2018. The link is in the description. And even the title says a lot. He can be whatever you want him to be. Identity and intimacy in the masked performance of Ghost. At the very beginning, I said the people we're most intensely drawn to usually aren't the ones we know best. Because when we don't know someone fully, we get to fill in the blanks however we want. What we're attracted to is the version we want them to be. not what they actually are. Basically, whatever you want. And when the truth isn't fully visible in all its brutal clarity, it becomes way easier to fuse it with fiction. In music, this kind of intentional hiddenness isn't a new strategy at all. The article points out that bands have been getting results with this approach since the 70s. Plenty of groups, like Daft Punk or Slipknot, have done it, and in different eras, it's clearly worked. The article also mentions how Ghost members describe their live performances like stepping into a balloon. They go into the balloon, do what they need to do, and then the balloon pops. That's how they separate their professional life from their daily life. They even talk about being mistaken for regular fans, and sometimes not being allowed backstage because of it. Their core argument is that being unknown is a way to prioritize the musical experience, and that if you want the strongest effect, you have to lean into the visual layer that comes with the music, meaning the performance itself. Costumes and masks don't just hide. They function as an extra layer that strengthens the storytelling. And since I'm going to keep referencing anonymity, I'll be using the word the masked ones a lot from here on out. One of the biggest advantages of Sleep Token and other masked acts is the freedom to build their own universe. Like I said, the main idea is limiting what's visible and letting the audience fill in the rest. The masked ones sketch the outline of the universe using their physical look and symbolism, and most of the time, these worlds borrow heavily from systems that already carry mystical energy, like religion and mythology. But to be fair, this isn't something only masked artists can do. I mean, David Bowie wasn't wearing a mask, and he was still out there traveling across universes like an alien. And just don't forget, he also benefited a lot from having a distinctive look, especially that eye. So yeah, the idea that wearing a mask automatically gives you a universe-building advantage is still a pretty bold claim. Of course, universes only mean something as long as people actually step into them. And this alternative reality game rollout for their latest album, honestly, I'm going to call it just The Campaign from now on. When it comes to pulling people into a fictional world, it basically hit every single button. Personally, I think The Campaign went a little overboard, and as a general marketing strategy, I don't really see it as sustainable. But at least this time, it worked perfectly. It all started with the band using their TikTok account to funnel people to a website called showmehowtodanceforever.com. The first screen had these random letters you had to arrange in the right order. And look, human brains don't like effort. Like, for centuries, we've basically been obsessed with one thing. How can we solve problems without getting our ass off the couch? So testing people with a task that requires actual time and focus doesn't sound like a brilliant idea at first, but Sleep Token has been building their whole narrative with this mysterious, mythological vibe from day one. And for a project like that, a little prove-yourself test is weirdly irresistible. And it wasn't just the interface that mattered. The site's source code was part of the puzzle too. Hidden inside were geographic coordinates pointing to a monument in England, Shepherd's Monument at Shugborough Hall. And that letter sequence? It matched the monument's famous unsolved cipher. Once fans cracked it, the site unlocked a new page asking for an email address. And then, boom, emails started hitting inboxes with the line, "Behold, a divide," and 2 different images. And of course, those emails also included links to the band's official store. I mean, that's email marketing at its finest right there. They really said, we don't do boring newsletters like everyone else. We perform. At this point, the campaign planners clearly decided to split the audience in 2, House Viridian and the Feathered Host. Those 2 images in the first email? Yeah, they were the crests. And whichever crest you clicked first basically sorted you into that house. Another layer of mystery, of course. And honestly, this whole getting divided into groups thing immediately reminded me of Harry Potter. You know, the part where everyone gets sorted into 4 different groups. In the Sleep Token universe, these groups are literally called houses. And guess what those groups are called in Harry Potter too? Of course, house. Once you were assigned, you'd get pushed toward house-specific Instagram accounts. So, we just watched email marketing, and now we're watching organic social media engagement. And later on, Reddit and Discord get pulled into the chaos too. At one point, fans actually went to the coordinates near Griffith Observatory on March 8th, found QR codes, and those led them to a number sequence. A second ago, we were fully digital. Now we're back in the real world, and the show is still going. The moment you're inside this game, the marketing team basically does everything to make sure you never escape. And throughout all of this, the phrase blood moon keeps showing up in different forms. Because yes, there really was a blood moon that year on March 13th. And on that exact day, the band dropped the Emergent single, and then announced the new album right on top of it. Blood moon. Another mythological symbol, another mystery. And the whole let's get nature to sponsor the campaign idea wasn't limited to the blood moon either. Personally, my favorite move in this entire process was them using weather events as part of the promo. The band's label, RCA Records, decided to bring a meteorologist named Chris Michaels into the story. And the funniest part is, the guy is genuinely a metal fan. Later on, he even said this would end up being one of the most unforgettable moments of his entire career. Michaels basically acted like an influencer to boost engagement for the Caramel single. According to the plan, he started planting sleep token clues inside his weather segments. For example, on one weather map, he deliberately blurred certain letters in county names, and the caption said, "Developing, 3/31st." And of course, the fans instantly figured out that the blurred letters spelled caramel. So yeah, people literally learned the title of the new sleep token track, hidden inside a weather forecast. And here again, we see the same two philosophies being applied with insane consistency. Keep the mystery alive, keep the mystical vibe intact, and blur the edges of reality. So far, we've seen everything: email marketing, viral marketing, organic engagement, and even this progressive influencer marketing thing through a meteorologist. That's what I meant when I said they hit every single button. And if we sum up what all of this tells us, it's basically this: anonymity can be a strong and sustainable strategy. Even though humans tend to fear the unknown, masked artists ironically have an advantage when it comes to building intense emotional connections. Their biggest strength is how easily they can create fictional universes and manipulate reality, because we fill in the blanks ourselves. And we bond harder with what feels like it belongs to us. I hope you had a good time. And if you did, the only thing you need to do is support the channel with a like and a comment. I'm especially curious about your suggestions, because I really want to turn this place into something great for all of us. Life's short, and the music's playing. Until next time, take care.